I think it's time we can start. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming. This is really so exciting. Happy New Year. Well, it's a little late, but Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah.
The last time we saw each other was in December.
Yeah,
I think, yeah, in December. Yeah. Jason talk about Jason Nata, which are really good. And today we're doing this partner webinar that starting with something very simple. We're going to be talking about basically how exchange ideas on how each other do the productivity, how we use that, how we manage our tasks to each other, exchange some ideas, maybe learn something new from each other. So you can jump in if you have something you want to show. It would be really cool. And so we want to start, like always, with the tape team, see what you guys have for 2025 for us. What's your roadmap? Anything that you want to share?
Yeah, definitely. So currently we are deeply focused on the new record. And as you probably all know, we are focusing on the record to solve three major topics in tape. First, we want to have a flexible record layout. We want to use that new field types for web forms and also make this field types mobile accessible. Plus, we want to have that smartness to be able to conditionally show or hide fields, etc. And currently we are working on the field style because you will be able to have multiple different style options for your field types because the field types will be used for web forms and for the record as the same. And that's important to have multiple options where you can style it. I can show you a little bit from our currently development phase.
Oh, yes, please. Let me see. Yes, please. Can you share the screen?
Yes, I'll try. Here we go. I hope you can see my screen.
Nothing yet.
Is it working now?
Let's see. There we go.
Do you see it now?
Yep, I see it now.
Perfect. So what we want to reach with the new record is a multi-column layout, as you all know. But what is important is each field type. So each field have different layout options to have the flexibility to create layouts like this. And we are currently working on the menus to have all the options you need to customize your fields to your needs. So you all probably know this menu with some different options when you edit a report, for example. And this will be pretty similar for fields, but you have this edit style option here. And this is what we're currently working on. When you click on this option, you have separate from the field options, which you know, like the field name, the type of the field, like the category options. You have the style options, which are pretty much the same for each field type. And you have some quick style options, but when you go to custom, you will have loads of options to style your field. This is important when you want to use it for forms or you want to have, depends on the use case at the end. But here are some style options we are currently working on. And I want to show what the effect when you change something will be. This is first is the input container style. You can have the classic transparent style, which we currently have, but you also can have some visible input containers. Of course, you can decide if you want to have a label there or you don't want to have a label. You can decide which style you want to have your label. This is important when you have different container styles or when you want to make something more outstanding. We have icons in label and placeholder. If you prefer for mobile style only to show icons instead of text because you don't have much space, you can decide if you want to wrap the label or you want to have it just one line. And then, of course, each field type, each field container will have different options, like a top description, a bottom description. Of course, the error message only appears when there is a validation error, like when you have a required field, and then the label. And currently, what we are currently deeply focused, beside of the style, is now the sizing of the labels, which is important for when you have like questions in forms. They need bigger sizes for the label. And this is quite complex. As sizing is very complex because you need to change it for mobile. And there we are going very much into details because we want to give you something which works out of the box, good on mobile and on any device. And there we have all the changes automatically made when you change it. And here's something else we're working on. This is the rules, we call it now, where you have a full variable context and you can set multiple rules per block or per field, and where you can put options like hide something, validate something. This is very much something for you guys, like you have all the variables, and what you can see here is you can turn into script. So you can use JavaScript here to evaluate some conditions and to conditionally style or hide something or validate something in a field, which makes it at the end probably pretty smart. So this is from my side. I want to stop sharing.
Oh, that is fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you.
So excited for this stuff. That's
yeah, loads of stuff, loads of stuff, a lot of work, but we are focused on it.
That is so cool. Yeah, very excited. The conditional thing, I'm going to use that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I actually use some conditionals with the calculation. It's a pain, but it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's so exciting. So let's continue on with the next. So right now, we got some exciting news, something that Stefan we're working on. We now have a tape affiliate. So it's actually pretty cool. So now you will be able to share tape with other people and make a hefty commission from it. So Jason is going to show you how the platform looks just in general to give you a brief idea, something really cool. So Jason, go ahead. Okay, can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
You're muted, Jay.
Right. Yeah, no, my machine was having a strop, so sorry.
Oh, Lord.
So it was typical. Give me a sec and we will, let's see, I've got so many windows and tabs open to show different things. I do apologize. It's all gone a bit. I don't even know where it's getting some of my tabs from, to be honest with you. Right, I can't share my screen anyway from that one. Let me just. So basically, what we've got in testing is an affiliate.
Let me.
And this isn't going to work because I can't. Why don't you move on to your task manager, Louis?
Okay, got it. Yeah,
And
I
will
couldn't
come back
access
to
it
you.
either. I was checking. I need to.
Yeah.
But
I'll
anyway,
come back to you.
yeah, we can go back later. But it's really
Yeah.
cool. So what the purpose of this call is very simple. I wanted to do this call to share between us how each of you manage their tasks, and if you have a specific task app that you use with Tape. In my case, I use everything for Tape. My tasks, my everything I use Tape, but I use the app that is called the Focus on Tape. So let me show you that. Let me share my screen real quick. So it's gonna be, let me share this one. Yeah, I'm gonna share this window here real quick. There we go. Okay, so basically I use the Tape Focus. The Tape Focus, as you see, when you go to the Tape app, you got the home and the focus. That used to be in the home, the focus. So what I usually do here, the focus, if we go to the instructions, this is going to be, if you go to the help files and you go to the focus is basically a central overview of everything that is assigned to you in Tape. You can organize however you want. And from my understanding, the focus is per individual person, correct? It's not like everybody sees the same focus, correct? Perfect. So if it's like that, so you can modify the focus however you like. So in my case, you have several different options on how to create. You can create different like sections. You can create sections, rename the sections, put them however you like. And then inside those sections, you can add different reminders or tasks. So there's another help document here that the way that tips to way to use the focus. So this is really good. You have different focus. You can assign them by day. You can assign them by different tasks. So you can check this file. I'm gonna put it in the forum so you can see it. You can assign it by task type, by priority, by scope of the task, working blocks, however you like. You have the flexibility to use it however you like. In my case, I like to do it this way. I like to have like the upcoming task, which will be the default. Then what I need to do today, the tasks that are in progress, and then I tend to separate like the business 1, business 2, business 3, which will be the division of the business that I work in. So I can put the tasks in there. And of course, the personal one, which will be like the reminders to do something personal. In this case, I need to buy food for the dogs. Yes, I use Tape to remind me to buy food for the dogs because I tend to forget stuff. So this is useful. And one of the things is that I like to add, for example, when you add a section, you can actually add emojis. So I usually go to this website, which is called Emoji Finder, and find any emoji, and then I just copy it from here and then put it here in the section, which is really cool because you can see it makes the focus a little bit more happier and more visual. That's how I like to do it. And so the way that the focus works is like you have like you can sort the tasks that you get here by due date and by sections. In my case, I like to sort them in sections and sort them automatically because I can you can drag and drop them across sections like you see here. So I like that. And then you can customize it here, which is customizes is like you can see either the reminders, you can see the checklist items and the records. Okay. So you can basically across all Tape, you can add any app that you add on Tape can add something in the focus. But for my specific case, I only allow one app to add something in the focus just to keep things organized, because if you have too many apps adding stuff to the focus, it can get a little bit messy. So I created a task app that is over here. It's called the task. And inside the task, I can organize the task however I like. Okay. When you create something, an app, you need to have something you need to add certain fields to the app to be able to have it in the focus. So if we go to the customize fields over here, you need to add the following. You first need to add the member, which will be this one. And once in the member, you need to activate this, show in focus. Then you also need to add a status field, which will be whatever you like. And the last thing you need to add, if you want to add due date, and then you can check here, check as due date for status fields. And when you add all those three together, you will be able to put all that information in the focus. And another one that is really cool is the checklist. You can also add the checklist inside the task app for the focus to appear by activating this show checklist item in focus. For my specific case, I don't activate that one because I use the check marks just as things as I go on in the main task app. I put all the tasks that I need to do from the main task and I keep checking them as I go. So that's the one way. So it's very simple. So the way it works for my specific case is very simple. I create a to-do app. This is the title of what I need to do, a brief description, the due date, and the checklist, and the status, and assign it to myself, and the division. Very simple. This works for me, specifically for me. And as I go on, I keep adding stuff, as I go on. And this is something that I created. It's called the Pomodoro technique. This is a time management technique that you basically work in intervals of time. So I have this thing that I bought on Amazon. It's like a cube. So the Pomodoro technique, you basically work on 25-minute intervals or 50-minute intervals. If you work 25 minutes, you get 5-minute breaks. If you work 50 minutes, you get 10-minute break. It's a very cool technique that keeps you focused. So let's say that I want to work for 25 minutes. So I just put it, I flip it, and the time starts running. It's probably upside down, but it starts running. And when it goes out, that means I finished that task. And during those 25 minutes, I cannot do anything else. I need to do whatever it is in this task. So let's say like I want to do like a 25-minute task. So the first thing I need to do is let's say I start, I'm going to click start. And when I click start, I flip this thing to 25 minutes. And then I put it in front of me, and I know that I have 25 minutes to work, and I can see it in front of me. And what it does is like it asks like, okay, I started the task app at this time. And then as I go on, I can just write, okay, for this specific tab, create a tape video tutorial. Okay, let's say prepare the camera, and add a comment to keep myself know what I did. And as I go on, I can check here. Let's say, okay, I created a script, I check mark it. And when I check mark it, it automatically added as a comment over here. Eventually, see, check mark that I completed at that time. And as I go on, I keep adding comments, but I'm in this batch of time. Right now, I'm in 24 minutes. So I need 24 minutes to keep working on that task. I cannot stop working on it. And the cool thing about this is that it gives me like how much time it's going to take me to complete this task. So since it's a Pomodoro time management technique, I'm going to be working 8 Pomodoros. 1 Pomodoro equals 30 minutes of work. So 30 minutes of work equals 8 Pomodoros is 4 hours. So this task of creating the tape video tutorial will take me 4 hours. And as I go on and keep adding the things, I just keep adding the comments. And if the time is up, when the time is up, I just simply click complete. And then when I can complete the tape automation is going to add a comment saying that okay, I finished that block of time. So right now, this is 25 minutes. I gave a 5-minute break. Really cool. And then the calculation asks, okay, you have worked 30 minutes, the actual time versus the estimate. And the cool thing about that is that it gives me an idea of how much time a task might take. For example, so I do a lot of videos. So I can say, okay, this video took me 4 hours. What can I do to improve it? And then I go through the comments. I see, okay, I can do this part a little bit better, and so on. And the last thing I added to the task app, and this is one of the most important things, is an integration with the Google Calendar API. So with the Google Calendar API, I can add the task that I have into my calendar. And that's the most important part. If I don't add it to my calendar, I probably won't do it. I need to see it in my calendar to be able to see, okay, so today I need to create a tape video tutorial, and there's a block in my Google Calendar to tell me at what time I need to do it. So in this specific case, the way it works is that you basically create, okay, I'm going to work on it today. Let's say I'm going to work on it at 3 p.m. I add it here, and then I need to select, okay, I want to work a 30-minute block or a 60-minute block. Usually I put 60 minutes. So right now, there is when I will click here, there's going to appear a bug. There is a bug on this section. I'm going to show it to you now. When I click 60 minutes, it's supposed to add something here, but it's going to show me an error over here. So I'm going to go back over here. This is just a slight problem with the send API request. So what you need to do in my specific case, I need to go over here, click over here, and reauthorize the API again to be able to use it. And when I do that, boom, there we go, connection successful. So now I can go back. It's a minor bug. For this specific task app, it's not such a big deal. You just reauthorize it, and then you use it again, and then you click 60 minutes. And then it's going to clear everything, and then I go back to the iframe here and just reload the frame. And as you can see here, boom, it's over here. And I can see it on my calendar. And if I go to the Google Calendar, let's see the week view, you can see it here. So everything is connected. And this is one of the most important things for me, because I can see it on my calendar, I can see it on my phone, and as I go on. And then the last thing I do is, of course, everything that I do, all the tasks that I add here, I will be able to see them in the focus. So every day when I wake up, I see the day focus and I know what I'm going to do. So let's say that I want to do this tutorial today. I just flip it over to today, and then I know what the task that I need to do on that day. This task app that I created it for myself. It's mostly like, it works for my personality type, and it's really cool for my specific type. But I want to share with you, see what you guys do in your specific case, especially those that work with large teams. I would love to see how your apps work, and see how can I improve mine, and maybe when I'm working with teams, what can I do better. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Sure. Okay. It seems a bit. While people are thinking about that and whether they've got anything to share, I believe I might be able to share my screen now. So we can give it a go and see whether it works. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we do.
Good. So this is in testing at the moment, but you will get an email similar to what's on the screen. And it's really easy to sign up. I did it on my phone, and Lewis did it pretty quickly as well. So it's very simple. And you get, when you're in, it's the same as most affiliate programs, basically, but you can see your new user signups. If somebody purchases, then you get it there. You can get your sharing link from there. Now, it's suggested that basically you shorten this sharing link. The main reason being that if at any point Tape decide not to use this affiliate provider, then your links will work. You can continue to work. In case you don't know, when you use a link shortener, then you can modify the destination URL afterwards. So that's basically the reason behind it, and it works with all sorts of link shorteners, and you can even make your own fairly simply. So I did it in a couple of hours. Yeah, so that's basically what Stefan's been working on. And from what I've seen so far, it looks really good, but it's still in testing. I'm not sure exactly when he's hoping to roll it out. Maybe by this time next month, I don't know. Yep, that sounds, I think that's the time scale is about right. So I know a lot of people have been wanting it, and there he is. While I'm chatting, I'll try and show you my some of my project management system. It's a little bit works in a different way, but if, for example, I want to create a Cloudflare worker to shorten links, which seems rather appropriate, then I can just put that in there and click save. It's not needs the status. Now, it might take a little while, it depends. It goes off and does quite a few things. it's basically going to develop that project description. I find with projects, sometimes it's the getting started that's the difficult bit and breaking it down. So my system helps me do that. It does vary. It seems to be slow today, but here we go. It's starting to come in now. So it's given it a better project description. It's created deliverables, and it's now going off and creating all the actions as well. Obviously, sometimes the deliverables aren't very good, and sometimes the actions aren't relevant, but it gives you a nice starting place. If I click on one of these, then you can go to the action or the task, and you can have all the different statuses, and those will show in the focus if it's a relevant status. So it's now created a whole load of information. I can add it to toggle, so I can time record on it, and I can time record directly from the project. Or I could add it to linear, which I quite like because it's got a reasonably good mobile app. You can link it through to GitHub. And it will, what it's now doing is it's basically creating the project within linear. If I open it, then you can see that it's put in the project. It's still working through at the moment. It's changed my deliverables into milestones. And then it's creating all the actions underneath from tape. Once it's done all that, it will, in fact, add a link back to the tape record as well. So it becomes a fully two-way syncing. So if you change a project or a task in one, it links through to the other. Let's say sometimes it can take a while, but that's what it's doing, and that's how I work with projects and tasks at the moment.
Quick question, Jason. Does that use AI to create the deliverables for you?
Yeah.
So you put the title and it tells you what you need to do?
Yeah, I just put in a short description, and then it goes off and produces a longer description, a title, and then gives all the deliverables and all of the tasks underneath the deliverables.
Nice.
So, and it uses the, well, I rewrote it not long ago, but it now uses the batch create endpoints. So rather than doing a loop, it just basically creates all of the deliverables and actions in one hit, links them all together with the batch update. So yeah, so that's it.
That's pretty cool.
The tasks link through as well, but yeah, it's all, as you can see, there's the link to the task. And if it's updating correctly, then it will update there. But as I say, for some reason it seems a bit slow today. So, but yeah, that's mine.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Yeah, I like that you use AI to basically create the task for you.
Yeah, it just gives you a nice starting point. You can obviously modify them and and change them. It's not often that I don't end up changing some.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But yeah, it's that starting point. It's that breaking down of a big project in the initial.
Excellent. Okay, perfect. So I see, John, you're here in the call. You were able to make it. So did you would like to share your task that we were talking?
Yeah, I didn't duplicate it into a different space.
Did-
So I've been just kind of cleaning this up a little bit here. But yeah, I'll go ahead and do a quick run through.
Just in case this call is recorded, just in case. So
Nope, I'm aware. I filtered
okay.
through, so it's only
Got
only
it.
some
Got it.
irrelevant things from my internal team.
Got it.
And appreciate that too. All right, you can see me. So I'm managing a team. I have a marketing firm. We handle a lot of different projects, CMO, everything through government, through startups. And one of the things that I needed to do is I needed to figure out a solution that would allow my less tech savvy users be able to log things, put them together, etc. So we broke basically all of the different departments and steps in our company down into different departments, and then like really broke them down like that. So one of the things that we developed was a tasks app, similar to what Lewis is doing, where basically you can have different statuses, and we're pushing these over to the focus as well. We also use the checkbox fields for micro tasks, things like that. So the thing that I wanted to highlight here, though, is going to be the recurring tasks that we put together. So for instance, over at our office, we have a garbage night, and notoriously, if we're not in there all the time, they will forget to take out the garbage. So we created a recurring task where basically set a start and an end date to it, has a couple different statuses. So play, pause, stop, in case we need to pause it or skip it for a couple of weeks, set the standard for the priority of it, and then very rudimentary, daily, weekly, monthly, and then whatever that cadence is, details, and then we can assign it to the individuals. So what we're doing on the back end is we're basically saying every day, grab these, take a look at what's active, what's currently inside of play. If that date aligns, if it matches, go ahead and just loop through and create a task. And if it's a group task, it'll have everybody attached to it. If it's an individual, it'll then assign an individual task to each person, each user. So this was a really simple solution that my team was able to grab, and they were able to like loop through. So they can put things onto their own calendar. They can assign tasks to other individuals, etc.
That's very cool. So that recurring app, it makes the task continuously, like a new tab every time.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And since you're working on a large team, everyone has their own tasks, and they need to. And who's in charge of monitoring who finished the task? How do you do that?
Yeah, so for these are more, if anybody's familiar with like EOS, that's fairly popular in the US. We're going through, we're doing daily stand-ups. So we're kind of looking at this since what do we call it? The focus tab. Yeah, since the focus tab is primarily for individuals, I can't see any of the tasks that are natively created for my team on there. So that gives me a blind spot. I don't have the ability to see that are my project managers. So by having them inside of an isolated app, we get to see that. We get to see things. For our weekly meetings, we have like an L10 discovery where we create similar to what you're doing, Lewis, where it's individual items. If you think about like a government meetings, they'll have new business and old business. So we're doing the same thing, and then we're breaking down actionable tabs. For instance, we're in Detroit, Michigan, and there's an international boat show that's coming up here in a couple of weeks. So we're going to have a booth over there, and we broke down all of the things that we needed to, all of those micro tasks. So that way, every week we're touching on that to make sure that we're there, and then they're all date stamped.
Got it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Excellent. So thank you, Jason, John, and for providing all that information. So we got a lot of time extra. So anybody else has their own task set that they would like to share or would like to give some feedback on how you use Stay for your time management or anything else, you're open to take the screen. Yeah.
I've got a question for John on what he was just showing, and Lewis, it may apply to you as well.
Mhm.
But we see that similar blind spot. We love checklist fields, but then those go to the personal ones in their focus spot, and management can't see, A, do they have 600 unfinished tasks piled up, or B, like how many tasks did they do last week, right? And trying to monitor that as a manager perspective is difficult with the focus screen. And so we debate with some of my different clients and different organizations. We debate not allowing the checklist fields, and everything is put into a deliverables app that it keeps that history and management has visibility into it, and it's handled that way. But there's pros and cons to doing that. So I'm just curious on your projects. Do you still allow checklists within your individual projects, but you just kind of let that run rampant, do their own thing, and it's the main tasks that you're tracking in your L10 stand-ups?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, and it's also a similar pain point that we've run into. And the solution that we came up with was, if we have a project and it has 10 micro tasks inside of it, kind of like what Jay was setting up. I do not, or whoever's the project manager for that, they do not necessarily need to know about those 10 micro tasks. The only thing that's hyper relevant is the deadline for the actual project, and is it on schedule or not. The person doing the work needs those micro tasks, right? Like that allows them to check the boxes. So what we do is, and I don't have anything that I can share that's generic right now, unfortunately, but basically we have each one of the projects, or each one of the like high level tasks. We have those inside of an isolated, similar to this task app that I just showed you. And then inside of that, it has the person it's assigned to, deliverables, details, and then all of the micro tasks for them. So it shows up inside of their focus.
Okay.
Because they need to know granularly what they need to do. Management needs to know, is it done? Is it not done? Is it on track or off track?
Right.
So I hope that kind of helps to satisfy your question.
Yeah, that helps. We've played with the trying to use checklist fields and agree that just from a management perspective, if we're trying to look at that level, it has to be logged in the task app. But if those are personal shopping lists of quick things that management doesn't care what they're doing, that's when the checklist field is valuable for us.
So, and maybe this is more like etiquette for the way that company is run, but so we do probably an hour to an hour and a half long meeting every Friday with my entire team. And because most of us are working remote right now, except for production. And what we're doing is we're going through that list of all of the open projects we have, and we're just cracking them open, grabbing, updating anything that's relevant, seeing if anybody needs to pull in additional team members for help or bottlenecks, and just kind of walking through all those projects that way. So the way that we have it built out, if you expand one of those, you do get to see all of the micro tasks. You just can't see it all in a top level overview where I can see this is Steve and this is all of the shit he hasn't done.
Right. Yeah, thank you. That's helpful.
Oh, that's good. I got somebody raising their hand, I think.
Don't let them talk.
It's just me, Luis. I just wanted to chime in into the focus thing that Carson just mentioned, and I would like to point out two things. One is the focus is considered kind of legacy. It's a little old. We built it with big ambitions a while ago, so that's why you need to excuse if there's something that you might find that's it doesn't feel recent anymore, because the feature has been around for a while and it didn't get a lot of attention. Honestly, but what I would like to point out is that independent from the decision whether you allow checklist entries or not in your workflow, I think the focus can still be valuable, because the original idea was to have one list of things, right? Whatever it is, it could be from different apps. It could be subtasks, checklist entry style, but it can all be sorted within one list. But it's mainly a view, like you already pointed out, a user-centric view onto your tape system, right? So that's why you can still enforce some of these rules and disallow checklist entries, but people would still see their assigned deliverables inside the focus and could sort them when they are working on it, and still get the transparency for management in the records or in the individual apps. So I would just like to point out that these two are not exclusive. So I think what Carsten mentioned can also be achieved while still allowing the focus. It's just a different way of working, but at the end of the day, I agree that the checklist entries don't have the real visibility that you would need, and not the opportunities for analysis. And that's why, I understand why you would disallow checklist entries, but the focus can still be valuable.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so we got a few more minutes. Anybody else that would like to share their own task app or? Oh, I like that. Yeah, RJ says, it would be amazing to be able to automate where the items end up in the sections in focus to avoid tinkering and manual work. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
So I'm going to jump in here real quick. And Tim and I have had conversations about this, because that was one of my pain points, is I have multiple people inside of a department. So we'll just say it's, I don't know, a web development department, and the ability to put things directly into those spaces on their focus would be amazing. And the argument that Tim gave me, which made sense, is that things will end up inside of, if your user is using the focus, things will end up inside of their lists, and they may overlook them. They may not see them end up there. So by having everything go into the, I think it's called recent or whatever it is, like wherever they default go, you then just have to train your staff or yourself to move those to the sections. That way you're touching them, you acknowledge that they exist, and they're not overlooked.
That's how I actually manage it myself, because
Yep,
I have it like, for example, I have all the tasks, I move them around, and I say, okay, I want to work this one today. And if I don't put it in today, I will forget it. Yeah. But actually, in my case, if I don't put it on the calendar, I will forget it. So I like that integration. But I really like the Focus app. It's really good. But from my understanding, you cannot put, for example, if you have a team and the person created a section, you cannot put something in their section, right?
Cannot.
Oh, got it. Perfect. So you cannot see my personal one. Perfect. Okay. Excellent. So then we can go to the, if nobody wants to like share their own screen or want to do chip in on what their time management or how they use Stay for the task app, we can just do a Q&A and then see, take it from there. Any question that you have for the Tape team or for John or for Jason about it or anything? Perfect.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You're not going to give me an answer to this because of the way that development works. What is a realistic quarter for web forms?
I might can answer that, but at the moment we can't really put a realistic estimate, because we made one step forward, one back because of the new stuff like the front-end automations. But our plan is at a certain point, because at the moment we have to go in the wide range, because the feature is so connected to everything. Like we want to have the field types working in the record, in the web forms and mobile, and we need to have all the broadness of the feature, and then we will sniper like a sniper, put the web form first at some field types. That's our current plan. But when we come to a point when we can, we have these uncertainties developed and say, okay, this is now at a level we can do in a beta phase. We will definitely bring that up to the community. But at the moment, it's really hard to bring a really estimation where we can say, okay, this is definitely works for us, because we're going one step forward, two back, and it's really hard to guess at the moment.
I guess. And I understand that there's so many nuances and everything is hinged off of things that don't currently exist yet. Do you think that's something that maybe could happen within this calendar year? Or do you think that's something a little bit farther out? Not what you want to happen, but just like with the way that everything else has been going for the front end rewrite. Like, do you think that's realistic? And the reason I ask is I have a nonprofit and everything they do is on the field mobile. So they've been real hesitant to really dig in and merge themselves into tape.
To think this calendar year?
Yeah.
Yes,
Do you think that could happen?
It's definitely our plan. Definitely this year. So
okay.
This is definitely our plan.
Well, I'm just trying to get. Well, I mean, other SaaS products that I've worked with have taken decades to implement tiny changes. So.
Yeah.
Sorry for putting it.
So we want to have it too. So
I know. I'm sorry for putting you on the spot, Leo. Yeah, I'm sorry.
All our project management with tape and all our QA work for tape. So I'm also very excited for the new stuff.
I think this is really interesting. Sorry, Tim, go on.
Sorry, Jason, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I remember the first conversation I had with Tim, whatever it is now, 18 months ago, and he said, "Oh, I don't know. Without web forms, I'm not really sure that I can cope with this." If you see what I mean. And it was like I thought it was a real deal breaker. But to be honest with you, now it's the least of the issues. Any issue. There's so many good web form providers out there that will link into tape with such ease and for free that it's whilst it would be nice to have a web forms, I get that, it's so easy to get around the web form one. In my view it is. So I'm really interested that it's still quite a big fundamental one for you. So
yes, that's also a reason we just don't want to call it web forms. We just want to call it like forms. You can not only use it as web forms, you can also show data in the forms. That's our plan, and you have so many more possibilities with that approach. But it's from the feature perspective, much more work. But we decided in our team. We are now building a new basement for tape with this new feature. And we put a lot of effort in it to make many more use cases possible. And there's really something great coming, and not just web forms, because as you say, Jason, there are so many free tools for web forms out there, and we have more planned with that.
Excellent. Okay, I'm with Jason. I use the free forms to connect everything. It's really not that. It takes a little bit of coding, but it's not out of this world. Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, perfect. So we have done. I think we had a great conversation here. We're almost out of time. So one thing I wanted to mention, we're gonna be doing this tape partner webinar every month until the end. It's gonna be the last Thursday of the month. Hopefully. So one thing I wanted to ask you guys, one thing I want to do to the webinar is to invite like third parties in. So for example, things that you can integrate with tape. So for example, ProcFu is one I'm very interested in. So like, and the link, I think it might change. I'm not 100% sure. It might change. But one of the things I want to do is invite like new people. So external tools that we can integrate to tape, like Procfu. One thing that I use extensively, Web Studio, which is for web development. It's insanely good. Gonna talk to them, see if they want to join us and explain a few stuff. But what other tools do you guys think that we should invite here, or any feedback that you might have for future webinars that we can discuss?
Most of the things I get excited about, Jason and Lewis already touch on. So you're showing me things I didn't know I was going to be excited about.
One thing I have a calendar. I share it with Jason of the whole month, of the whole year. We already have the calendar for the whole year. Just some few ideas. One of the things that we want to do is like integrate Stripe API. I don't know if you guys have done that. You can actually create invoices directly on, well, I call it quotes. You can create quotes on tape and then do the Stripe API to create the invoice. Really cool. Just been testing that. Maybe like the smartphone integration. We can invite them here to see like I haven't tried that one though. I don't make that many calls. Yeah. Yeah. The calendar integration tool, email campaigns options, payment processing, stuff like that. I actually use the email with I have an email marketing campaign directly on tape. It's still a work in progress, but something that I can share. It's with Postmark. And the payment processing thing is that's a little tricky, but it would be cool to do though.
Yeah, on that one specifically, Lewis, I am talking to some clients right now that they're looking for a whole lead to cash process, and we've got, generating the quote and signing for the quote, and it's connected to an e-signature, but once that quote is signed, they want a way that signature can lead straight to collecting money. And if we could have that hooked up that tape recognizes and then does it, I haven't just sat down to figure it out yet. I know it's possible for someone. If one of you have figured it out before me, I'd rather just copy one of Jason's really good tutorials than think through it myself.
Yeah.
I haven't done that one, but yeah. There's no reason why it can't be done. So
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in here really quick, Carlson. So one of the things we did was populate a PDF or populate a web or the display. What is it? A web page or a web form? Whatever the hell it's called. We build one of those where it's static, and then we include a button at the bottom that pulls you over to JotForm, which includes a signature and then collects payment through Stripe or whatever payment processor that way. And what it does is it takes a randomized ID and it links both of them together, and then it spits out a signed PDF that way. So that was kind of dirty, but it was a real easy solution to deploy.
That is a good thing.
Yeah, and Fillout can do similar, and their Stripe integration is free. The signature box in Fillout isn't, but it's free in Tally, the signature box. And I'm pretty sure that Tally links through to Stripe as well. So what I tend to do is just send the record ID as a reference in the URL, and then you can search and update the record easily because it's unique. So it doesn't even matter what app it comes back into or whatever. So
Got it. Excellent. So we're almost 5 minutes to the finish of the webinar. If anybody have any questions so far before we close? No, excellent. So very good. So thank you guys for joining this webinar. Hopefully we will see each other every last Thursday of the month. The next webinar we're gonna planning to be out. I'm gonna try to invite guest speakers so they show us their platform, see how we can improve our workflows. If you have any feedback, like always, post it in the forum so we can see what else we can do, and we'll see each other in a month. Okay.
Tomasz, did you have a question? You raised your hand.
Who raised their hand?
Okay. It's fine.
Excellent, guys. Okay, so take care. Okay. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Great to see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great job, you guys.
Thank you. Bye bye.